The best and most country, Froggy 103.7. If you're a fan of The Voice, you know this guy as he was on Team Blake during season 1. Welcome father, songwriter, singer, philanthropist, Jared Blake. So let's start off with kind of your entrance into music. Has that always been a part of your life?
I was born and that's what I did. My parents, remember them telling me they would take me out to shows and stuff, and they would lose me during the middle of the show because I would, even at 3, I would leave them and start trying to climb up on the stage.
Oh.
And so it was just kind of always that way. I wrote my first song when I was 5 for my brother who was getting married, and it was called Getting Married is a Good Thing, and I later found out that that's not always true.
Right. And after that happens, well, you get signed as a writer for Sony. Now, how was that?
You're around so much talent in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
You feel extremely honored that you get to do this. At the same time, when you hang out in the industry, everybody you know does it. So it seems kind of normal to you in some way. It's just what you've always done, and all of a sudden someone's paying you to do it now.
Right.
And to be honest with you, just like with The Voice, it seemed like once the wheels started turning, they were happening so fast that you didn't really have a chance to notice until it was all said and done and your life had completely changed. And then you sit back and accept it and become a lot more humble, I think, to feeling gracious for what you get to do.
Right. So let's fast forward a few years, okay? You audition for The Voice, a new talent show. It's in its first season. You wind up on Team Blake. What thought went through your mind when you had chairs turn?
I think it was shock, but I think the whole thing was just shock the entire time. You were shocked when you got selected. You were shocked when you got kicked off. You know, it's not a natural thing or a normal thing in people's lives. So the whole thing feels very surreal.
Okay, so you and your wife, Jennifer, you guys have a charity that you put together, and you started it a few years ago, and it's called Live to Be. What exactly is the basis? I mean, what's that charity built on?
That's been about 3 years ago that my wife and I started that, and we hit between 50 and 100 schools per year in between my regular touring. And the basis of that was because when I was in school, you heard a lot of don't do this, don't do that, all these negatives. And I started thinking, man, I don't know, that just kind of promoted me to do all those negative things. It was like an active commercial of, hey, here's something you haven't tried.
Right.
And so we kind of looked at it like, well, instead of telling these kids what not to do, maybe we focus on telling them what they can do and getting them to think about, what do you want out of life? Where do you want to be in 20 years? Who has what you want? Well, how did they get it? How do you get it? Instead of focusing on the don't do's, focus on what you can do and really thinking about what you want your life to be about and what's going to be your legacy instead of just drifting through life.
You got a new single. It's called Don't Let Her Be Gone. The song itself, what's the backstory on it?
That's actually kept me busier than anything right now. We're really excited about this song. It'll be released at the end of September. And the reason we're excited about it is because everything else we put out thus far has been a little more happy-go-lucky. And when I moved to town, I started writing for Sony within months of being here, basically. I started off as a songwriter, and that song and the new project is kind of moving back to my roots of getting back to what got me into the industry to begin with. But that one in particular, when we started recording it, the idea behind it was that the fans that had seen me on The Voice are also very familiar with my wife. She's on the road with me a lot. She was on The Voice with me for different episodes, and they've kind of painted us out to have this, this amazing relationship because they know how much, how in love we are. But we wanted to kind of get through the fact that, it doesn't matter what you think a person is in a position of, that we all go through the same crap, basically. We all have the same emotions. We have the same problems, the same arguments. Mm-hmm. People are just people, and their emotions are all the same, pretty much. So we were kind of letting them in on the side of, hey, we fight too, and we have problems that we have to work through just like any couple. It's about this girl having to go out and find herself. I tell you, something that can change the meaning of Don't Let Her Be Gone was we were then in a car wreck. We were hit by a drunk driver on the interstate doing like 70 head on, and my wife broke her back. She's been in PT for about 6 months now, and she's recovering great. But for me, I laid in that emergency room for 5 hours, not having any idea how my wife was doing or where she was. And that'll definitely change the meaning for you of Don't Let Her Be Gone.
Oh, yeah.
And we were in the middle of recording that song at that time, so that kind of sculpted where we went with the music video. And a lot of the fans also know that I have a charity called Live to Be, where I go into schools and talk to kids about drug and alcohol addiction, good life choices. And so the irony of being hit by a drunk driver and my Live to Be program and the Don't Let Her Be Gone was something that we felt like we had kind of come full circle with everything I was as a singer-songwriter, as a family man, as a musician. So we're really excited for everybody to see that and get to see a little part of our real life.
Coming up the 28th, you're going to be part of the Motorcycle and Music Revival at Loretta Lynn's Ranch, and this is a 4-day event that has, it's got a lot of different artists on it, appearing from classic country to new country and more. It's a 4-day event. It's going to start September 28th. Who are some of the artists signed to take part of that?
Yeah, Tennessee Motorcycle Music Revival coming up at Loretta Lynn's Ranch, September 28th through October 1st. Trailer Choir, we've got Jared Weeks of Saving Abel, Shelley Fairchild, Tim Montana and the Shrednecks. It's a lot of really cool talent. Guys behind it, Buck and Carrie, they both wanted to do something different, and I'm super excited to be involved in the rally because it's kind of introducing Nashville to the bike scene.
Right.
Typically, the bike scene is more of a party band sort of atmosphere, and we were talking about different things that we could do. And I said, well, since it's going to be at Loretta Lynn's Ranch, so close to Nashville, let's bring in the singer-songwriter side of things. And so all the artists that are out there are all amazing artists. They go anywhere from like your legendary, John A, all the way up to your up-and-comers. Thousand Horses and bands like that. But they're all very artist, singer-songwriters in their own right. And then we've also added a writers around a campfire. So we'll have some big songwriters out there that's written the hits that people know from the radio to actually sit down and tell their stories about where these songs came from and everything. And that's something that we've never seen at the rallies like that before.
Right.
And so it's exciting to expose the general population to something that us in the music industry have been spoiled with for years.
And the Motorcycle and Music Revival, they've kind of got a special agenda, I guess you could call it. What is that? Tell me a little bit about that and what it's all about.
Mission 22 is 22 of our veterans commit suicide every day in America. And
right.
It's kind of an awareness program to get people to stop and think about what these guys go through and how they need a little bit more support and patience and love than just a thank you or a slap on the back. These guys have seen and done things that most of us couldn't. And so we want to continue to spread that awareness for what these guys sacrifice and what they do. All the money goes back to that, the proceeds, and then at the end of that ride, when we meet back at Loretta Lynn's, I'll be performing again with a song that we just wrote that just got cut by Daryl Worley.
Oh.
Actually made a title track for his new album called 22, and it's about the soldiers.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's going to be quite the event, and it's got a little bit of everything. It's got motorcycles, country music, rock and roll, and our vets, supporting our vets. So, you can't mess up with this. You got to come.